Hello everyone, once again a warm welcome to my channel Krishna's Classes. So we are revising today Dissolution of Partnership. In this video we are going to solve some question like that. Okay, we have taken up around 5 questions and I hope these many questions we will be able to finish. So you are going to get a lot of insight into this chapter today and I hope this will help you a lot in boosting up your revision. Okay, so you can share with all of your friends this video. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So let's get started, students. We will start with dissolution of partnership. Some questions here I have picked up for you. You can see over here, there are certain questions I have taken up. Okay, so we will be doing all these questions in today's class. Okay. We try to finish all 5 questions. That is the reason I have not picked up many questions so that we can finish at least whatever is the today's target. Okay, so let's get started. So students, I have picked up 5 questions, starting with question number 1. Dissolution of partnership firm. See, as per the new pattern, what is happening, the full question where they asked realization account, partnership capital account and bank account are not asked in the specimen question paper for IAC. CBSE mostly asks for the journal entries, but we cannot say that only journal entries will come, and for IAC also only the question type of question which is given in the specimen paper, that only will come, we cannot say. Okay, so we should have a practice of all the items which are given in our syllabus. Considering that, I have kept a mixed bag of kind of questions in today's revision class. So what you can see over here is one question where only realization account is asked. Let us start doing it and discussing it, what this question is. Okay, so this question is saying, Praveen and Ravi are the partners in a firm sharing profits and losses in the ratio of 3:2. So first of all, we have the ratio, which is 3:2. They decided to dissolve the partnership firm on 31st March 2018. Praveen was deputed to realize the assets and to pay off the liabilities. Means all the realization work has to be performed by Praveen. He was paid 1,000 rupees as commission for his services. The financial position of the firm was on 31st March 2018 was as follows. So students, you always have to remember, whenever we are paying the commission to a particular partner, we have to read the question very, very carefully. If the question says only the commission is being paid and nothing is being mentioned about the realization expenses, don't assume on your own that the partner is only going to bear the realization expenses. It has to be clearly stated in the question that the partner is getting the remuneration and he has to bear the realization expenses. Like in this question, nothing is said that he has to bear the realization expenses. So we are not going to assume that he is bearing the realization expenses. We will see later on if there are any realization expenses. The normal assumption will be that the realization expenses are borne by the firm and paid by the firm. Okay, let's go to the balance sheet and look at the balance sheet side. First of all, let us put a tick mark to all those things which are going to be transferred to realization account. So building is a realizable asset. Remember that all the realizable assets will be transferred to realization account and all the outside liabilities will be transferred to realization account. So you have building, you have investment, you have debtors. Only the gross amount of debtors, which is 34,000, will be transferred to the realization account. Provision for doubtful debt will go to the debit of realization account. All these things are going to the credit of this is going to the debit of realization account and this is going to the credit of realization account where other liabilities will go. Bills receivable, obviously it will be debited to realization account. Bank itself is a liquid asset, it will not go. Profit and loss account will not go, it will be written off in the partner's capital account. And goodwill, don't forget that goodwill is a realizable asset and it will also go to the debit of realization account. So let us do one thing without wasting time. Let me put myself over here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make realization account. Okay, in realization account, I'm not going to stick to the format, students. Please make the format because by this time, I hope all of you know the format. So I'm just simply writing to sundry assets. My motive is today to do maximum questions possible. I'm going to write all these assets one by one, building, and you all have to do this along with me. Investment, debtors, then bills receivable, and goodwill. All of this we are going to write over here at their book value. So their values are 1,20,000. Investment is 30,600. Debtors are 34,000. Then I have bills receivable of 37,400. Bank will not go. Profit and loss will not go. And 4,000 rupees for goodwill will go. So all of this, I will take out the total of all of this, which is going to be 1,20,000 plus 30,600 plus 34,000 plus 37,400 plus 4,000. So the total of this will be 2,26,000. Okay, this is transferred to realization account. Now let me read to the next side of my balance sheet. What is next side of my balance sheet? Balance sheet's liability side I have read. So over here I should write by sundry liabilities. Okay. So under sundry liability, what do I have? I have creditors. Creditors of 80,000 rupees are there. So I should write over here by creditors 80,000 rupees I am going to write. Don't forget to write provision for doubtful debt. I may forget it later on, so I am writing it right now itself. Provision for doubtful debt. You have to write the full form, not the short form. This I am doing for saving the time. Okay. Then after that, you have Rajesh's loan. Now, who is this Rajesh? Rajesh is none of the partner. Okay. Sometimes what happens, we get confused that whatever name is written over here, that is one of the partners' name, but actually it is not of the partner's name. See, only two partners are there, Praveen and Ravi. These are the two partners. Rajesh is someone else. It may be a relative, it may be a friend or anyone else. So we are going to write this loan because it is outsider's liability. Okay. So this Rajesh's loan also we are going to write. This has come. Okay, I have left this Mrs. Praveen's loan. That also has to come. Mrs. Praveen is also an outsider. This is one of the partner's spouse, but it will be an outsider for firm. So Mrs. P's loan I'm writing. Mrs. Praveen's loan, which is 40,000 rupees. That also I will write. And investment fluctuation fund. Student, don't forget that investment fluctuation fund is always transferred to the realization account. Okay. Whenever there is investment, it is always going to be transferred, and hardly any question you are going to find out where there is no investment. Okay, so now we are done with transferring all the assets, realizable assets, and all the outside liabilities. Okay, IFR, I did not see the amount. What was the amount of IFR? 8,000 rupees was the amount of IFR. So I will transfer this 8,000 also. And now in the outer column, I'm going to write down the total of all this. So 80,000 plus 4,000 plus 24,000 plus 40,000 and 8,000. I know my speed is little fast, but I cannot go slow at this point of time because now only few days are left for the examination. So we have to maintain the speed for completing the questions. Now let us go to the additional information given to us. What is additional information given to us? Let us have a look over here. The additional information is saying Praveen agreed to pay his wife's loan. Who is Praveen? Praveen is one of the partner. And his spouse had given a loan to the firm. Now he's agreed to take the liability of paying the loan to his wife. Whenever a partner takes over a liability, it always comes on the debit side of realization account. Here I'm going to write to P's capital account and always mention in the bracket for what are we debiting it. So we'll write taken over wife's loan. Okay, he has taken his wife's loan. And what was the amount of wife's loan? You can refer from here. This Praveen's wife loan was 40,000. So 40,000 rupees Praveen has taken. Okay, so if you have in this question, you don't have to make a partner's capital account. In case you had to make partner's capital account, where you would have written, since it is on the debit side over here, you would have written it on the credit side of partner's capital account. Okay. Now let me go to the next one. I'm done with the first adjustment. Second is saying half of the debtors realized 12,000 rupees and remaining debtors were used to pay off 25% of the creditors. Now students, pay full attention over here. This is an important point. See what is happening. Debtors. How many debtors you have? 34,000 debtors are there. So what is question saying? that out of 34,000, half. What is a half of 34,000? Half of 34,000 is 17,000. Okay, so first I'm going to divide it into two different parts. That is 17,000 and 17,000. These are two halves, means this is 50% and this is another 50%. It is saying that half of the debtors realize how much? It realized 12,000 rupees. So whenever an asset is realized, what do? We write the entry on the credit side of realization account by bank. So I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to write by bank. Under bracket, I will write asset realized. Okay, asset realized. Under that, I'm first of all writing the debtors. How many debtors? 17,000 debtors realized 12,000 rupees. Now, what about the remaining half? And why I have written inside? I have not written it in the outer column because there may be other assets also which realize. So altogether, we will write the total outside. What about the remaining half? Remaining half, it is saying the remaining debtors, means remaining is 50%. Okay, remaining 50% debtors were used to pay off 25% of the creditors. Okay, let us see what is the amount of creditors. Creditors are 80,000. So 80,000 1/4 or 25%. Okay, 80,000 25% is 20,000 rupees. So what happened? These 17,000 debtors were paid to the creditors, means it is a trade-off between the assets and liabilities. Now, students, very, very important point is this. Whenever there is a trade-off between an asset and a liability, it is never recorded in the realization account. Not the gain, not the loss, or any other trading off between the assets and liabilities. For the simple reason, what is there? See, the first step which we followed for completing the realization account is that we have transferred all the assets into the debit side of realization account, means all the assets accounts is over, closed. And all the liabilities on the credit side of realization account, all the assets are closed. So all the liabilities and all the assets are closed basically. So what is happening? If I am paying one liability to one liability, if I am paying one asset, what is happening? I am transferring one closed account to another closed account. My all assets account be closed. Okay, debtors is already closed. Why? Because I have debited it over here. इसको डेबिट किया होगा तो डेटर को क्रेडिट किया होगा, means debtor account is closed already. Now, what will be the entry? Entry will be realization account, debit to realization account. Can I pass this entry? Of course, I cannot pass this entry because it's against the rule of the double entry system. So obviously, there cannot be any entry for this. Understand this? Some students think that the 25% of creditors were 20,000 rupees and 17,000 rupees debtors we are paying. So 3,000 rupees is gain and this gain should go to realization account. Never. It is completely wrong. So don't make this mistake. And remember that trading of the assets and liabilities or exchange of assets and liabilities are not to be recorded. There will be no entry for this particular part. Okay. So here for this particular part, I'm not going to pass any entry. No entry for this. Okay, later on in the working notes, you will have to write this. Investment is sold to Ravi. Now, who is Ravi? Ravi is one of the partners. Okay, now very carefully read this. What is the word used over here? Sold to Ravi. See over here, Ravi agreed to pay off his wife loan. Means whenever a partner, or sometimes they write takeover. Takeover word means what? If Ravi, one of the partner, takes the asset, okay, and it is the word used is taken over. For example, instead of sold, if they had written Ravi has taken over investment, it means what? Ravi has taken the investment, and whenever the final payment will be done to Ravi. Now, why final payment will be done? Because firm is closing its business. At the end, when we total the credit and deduct the debit from there, whatever is to be paid to the partner, that amount comes to bank, that entry we pass. Now that will be reduced. Why? Because on the debit side, we are going to write that so and so asset Ravi has taken. For example, he has taken the investment for 20,000 rupees. Just imagine that 20,000 rupees he has taken the investment. So if he has taken investment for 25,000 rupees, it means in the final settlement, firm is going to pay him less by 20,000 rupees. Reduced, his final settlement will be reduced by 20,000 rupees for the simple reason because he has taken an asset of worth rupees 20,000 rupees. So his final settlement has to be reduced by 20,000 rupees. But here, nothing like this is written that Ravi is taking the investment. What is written? It is written that Ravi is being sold. What is written? Investment is sold to Ravi for 27,000 rupees. Okay. So whenever there is investment sold to a particular partner, in that case, what is going to happen? You are not going to write it as if you are giving to some partner and going to later on adjust it along with the final settlement. It is sold. तो चाहे मैं रवि को सेल करूं, चाहे मैं एक्स को सेल करूं, चाहे मैं वाई को सेल करूं, किसी को भी अगर मैंने इन्वेस्टमेंट सेल किया होता तो मेरे पास कैश आया होता, and that entry has to be passed over here. So under this only I am going to write investment, because it does not matter if it is being sold. It is Ravi, means the partner, or some other outside party. We are going to receive the cash. And for how much we have sold? 27,000. So realizable value is 27,000 rupees. I hope this point is clear, student. This is a point where you may make mistakes. So be very, very careful and revise it later on. Building realized 1,52,000 rupees. So we sold building to someone, and how much did we realize? We realized 1,52,000 rupees. So we are going to write down this 1,52,000 rupees here for building realization. Then later on, what it is saying, remaining creditors. What remaining? Where did we discuss about the creditors? Remember this over here. Here we spoke about 25% of the creditors. So first of all, how many are remaining? 75% creditors are remaining creditors. And what is the 75% of 80,000? 80,000, 75% is 60,000 rupees. Okay. Remaining creditors were paid after 2 months. They were paid immediately at 10% discount. But to be paid after 2 months means, if in the normal course, if the business was continuing, not going into the dissolution, we would have paid to the creditors. Look over here carefully, students. Out of 80,000 creditors, 20,000 is being settled by paying them some investment, or no, debtors. We had paid them debtors and settlement for them was done. Remaining, this was how much? This was 25%. Remaining 75% of 80,000 is 60,000 rupees. Now, for this 60,000 rupees, what was the due date of payment? We all know that creditors give us some credit period. So do we give to our debtors some credit period? They had given 2 months credit period. Means, in normal case, if business would have continued, we would have paid after 2 months. But because the firm is dissolving and on the date of dissolution, we have paid them. Okay, so because we are paying them some amount 2 months before the due date, they are giving us 10% discount. I hope this is clear. Let us go back and read it again. What it is saying. See, over here it is saying that they were to be paid after 2 months and they were paid immediately at 10% per annum. This is the whole crux, per annum discount. Normally, what do students do? They just take this 60,000 and take off 10% of 60,000. 60,000 minus 6,000, ma'am, we are going to pay 54,000 to creditors. Udari galat. 0 marks for this. Why? It is 10% per annum. Means the time period has to be taken into consideration. How much advance payment you have done? 2 months in advance. So 60,000 into 10% into 2 by 12 has to be done. This is a very important concept. You have to remember, per annum word is being used. Okay. So 60,000 into 10% into 2 by 12 has to be done. Then you receive the amount, or you get the amount of discount which you are going to receive from the creditors. Okay, so 1,000 rupees discount you have received from the creditors, students. This particular concept is very, very, very important. Okay, you can take the screenshot. Okay, because there is no time. If you're writing along with me, very good. Otherwise, you just take the screenshot. Okay, oh, fine. Now, how much we have paid to the creditors, it means. So we are going to write over here to bank, and how much payment is done to the creditors. We have done the payment to the creditors for 60,000 minus the discount which we have received from them, 1,000. So total 59,000 is being to the creditors. Okay. Now let us go ahead and see what else is written. Bills receivable was settled at a loss of 1400. Loss of 1400 means we would have given them some rebate or discount and we received 1400 less from bills receivable. What was the amount of bills receivable? 37,400. So we received 1400 less. Means altogether we received how much? We received 36,000. Bills receivable 36,000 we received. Okay, fine. Let us go to the next one. Realization expenses amounted to 2,500. See, I had told you in the first line of the question itself that if there is anything related to realization expenses, we will have to assume that the firm has to bear realization expenses. Okay, and one more thing is left, the commission which has to be paid to the particular partner. What was that name of partner? The partner's name who had to Praveen. Praveen had done all this. So Praveen will be paid 1,000 rupees. Okay. So two more entry over here. First of all, I'm going to write realization expenses, and realization expenses are 2,500. Okay, 2,500 is my realization expenses. Let me look over here. Is there 2,500? Yes, it is 2,500. Realization expenses are 2,500. One more entry is left. Let me first of all see whether all my liabilities are being paid off or no. Is my liability for creditors settled? Yes, settled. Is my liability for PDD settled? It is not to be paid to any outsiders. It is not to be done. Rajesh's loan. Nothing is written about this in question. But are we going to pay Rajesh's loan? Obviously, we will have to pay Rajesh's loan. So this is what one rule what we have studied, that even if the question is silent about a particular liability, we will have to pay the liability. Okay. So their Rajesh's loan. How much is Rajesh's loan? Rajesh's loan is 24,000. Okay, so Rajesh's loan 24,000 you are going to pay. This 24,000 you are going to pay, and let me just shift it down. Whatever calculations I have written over here. What is happening? Oh, because there is eraser selected. That is why it's doing this. It is behaving like this. Yeah. I'm shifting it little more down. Okay. So here I am left with one more thing. I will total it and write it on the outside column. First of all, let me write this. 59,000 plus 2,400 plus 24,000. I was checking these liabilities. IFR not to be paid to the outsider. Rajesh's loan done. Wife's loan Praveen has settled already. Okay. So now I can total all of this under bank, whatever I have written, and what is this liabilities paid. Okay, payment of liabilities or liabilities paid, which is 59,000, 2,500 and 24,000. So altogether 85,500 I am going to pay to the outsiders. Okay. One more thing is left. What is that? This is to Praveen's P's capital account. I will write P's capital account. And what is this Praveen's capital account? This is commission. Commission is to be paid. Where it is written, ma'am? It is written here, beta, in the first line. Okay. In the second line of the question, Praveen was to be deputed to realize the asset and pay off the liability. And for this, he will be paid how much? 1,000 rupees will be paid to Praveen. Okay. So his commission is 1,000 rupees. 1,000 rupees we are going to write over here. Okay. Now we are done with everything what is to be done in realization account. What is this everything? This everything is we have transferred all the realizable asset, which is building, investment, debtors, bills receivable, goodwill. We have transferred all the outsiders liability and provisions and reserve, which is PDD and IFR. And after that, we have realized all the assets. So all the assets are 12,000 plus 27,000 plus 1,52,000 plus 36,000. So 2,27,000. All these assets are realized this much. Okay. One of the partner has taken the liability to pay off his wife's loan. That is being returned. All these other payments are returned, and one commission to be paid to the partner, that is written. Okay, now I'm not taking out the final answer of this because now simply calculation is left. So I hope this itna आप लोग खुद कर लेंगे. यहाँ का total निकालना है 2,26,000 plus 1,56,000 minus 2,26,000 minus 40,000 minus 85,500 and minus 1,000. Okay, so there is a profit on dissolution. Okay, realization gain is there. Okay, 2,26,000 plus 1,56,000 is greater than this total. Fine. So I hope this much you people will do on your own. We are ready to move to the next question. Thoda speed I'm going to keep fast because we have to cover up 5 questions, students, and I don't want to eat up too much of your time. Okay, for that simple reason, I'm doing it little fast. I hope this is clear. Now, students, super fast revision we are doing, and we are going to the question 2 fatafat, and question 2 is all about the journal entries. CBSE students, if you are watching this video, most probably, I'm not saying I'm not a paper setter, but most probably they ask these kind of questions. But there is no hard and fast rule that they will not ask something related to the ledger. So you must be prepared with ledger and with journal entries only. But अभी तक जो भी देखा गया है, ज़्यादातर CBSE में journal entry पूछते हैं dissolution के लिए, and ISC में कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. हाँ, लेकिन इस साल का जो स्पेसिमन पेपर है उसमें लेजर अकाउंट पूछे. ठीक है, so you must be prepared for both. Okay, this 15 जहां से मैंने क्वेश्चन उठाया था उधर पे शायद 15 नंबर था, वो आ गया. The firm of R, K and S, how many partners are there? Total 3 partners are there. It was dissolved on 31st of March 2019. Pass necessary journal entries for the following after various assets other than cash in bank. Obviously, we know cash in bank is not transferred to the realization account. So other than cash in bank, all other assets are transferred to the realization account. Fine. And the third party liabilities have been transferred, means outsiders liability are transferred to realization. After that, what they are saying that pass these entries. Okay. K agreed to pay off his wife's loan. उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? अब भी जैसे किया था वैसे ही है. लेजर में जो पोस्टिंग किया था बस उसका जर्नल एंट्री आपको बताना है. ठीक है, तो I will write journal entry over here. This is question 2. And first journal entry. If one of the partner agreed to pay his wife's loan, what is he doing? He's taking over a liability. And whenever a partner takes over the liability, the entry is realization account debit to concerned partner. Over here his name is K. K is capital account. Okay, that's it. This is the entry. What is the amount? Any other amount is written over here. The amount is 6,000 rupees. Okay, wife का loan भी था तो थोड़ा सा ही था, 6,000 के loan था which he has settled. Okay, 6,000 rupees is being settled. First entry is done and dusted. Going to the next one. Okay, what is next one? Total creditors of the firm were 40,000 rupees. Creditors worth 10,000 were given a piece of costing. Piece क्या है? Piece of furniture होना चाहिए था यहाँ पे. Piece of furniture या something होगा, that is missing. Piece of furniture costing 8,000 in full and final settlement. Okay, there are like previous question only. 40,000 creditors, similarly it was there. 40,000 में से 10,000 का settlement कैसे कर दिया? इसको क्या पकड़ा दिया? ले बेटा 8,000 रुपए की एक एसेट ले ले और खुश रहे. ठीक है, उसके बाद बाकी का क्या है? बाकी का how much is left? 30,000 creditors are left and they allowed the discount of 10%. This is much lighter than the previous one. Previous one में तो 10% per annum का discount भी निकाला था. इन लोगों ने कितना दे दिया? इसने 3,000 rupees का discount दे दिया. इसकी तो कोई entry होने नहीं वाली है. No entry. Why no entry for this? अभी previous question I explained to you. Whenever there is a trade-off between the assets and liability, no entry has to be passed. Here we are going to pass the entry with 27,000. What will be the entry? Simple, man. What that is realization account debit to bank account. Whenever you make any payment, realization account will be debited and to bank account. And what is the amount? Amount is 27,000. For the previous one, between the trading of a piece of furniture and the creditors, there will be no entry. Yeah, sometimes students get confused and they think, अरे 8,000 का furniture 10,000 के settlement के लिए दे दिया. Ma'am, 2,000 rupees का हम लोगों को गेन हो गया, कुछ भी गेन नहीं हुआ है बेटा, that asset is already closed, that asset account is already closed, so no gain, no loss is to be, no gain or loss has to be calculated. Okay, done with the second one also. Third one, a machine that was not recorded in the books of account. Not recorded means it is an unrecorded asset. Okay, so unrecorded asset in the books of account was taken over by K at rupees 3,000, whereas its expected value is 5,000 rupees. Okay, so a machine that was recorded in the books of account is taken over by A at rupees 3,000. Expected value को गोली मारो, उससे कुछ भी नहीं करना है. What we have to do, we have to take that value which is being taken by the partner. So he has taken over. Taken over means I am going to write it on the credit side of realization account, and the entry is going to be K's capital account debit to realization account. Okay, never write that asset's name. For 3,000 it has been taken, we will write 3,000 only, 5,000 is totally irrelevant for us. We are not going to write that 5,000. Okay, we are done with this also. This one is also done. Fourth one, the firm had a debit balance of 15,000 rupees in profit and loss account on the date of dissolution. So where does the debit balance of profit and loss account appears in the balance sheet? It appears on the asset side of the balance sheet, and it is actually the loss. Debit balance of profit and loss means it is the loss, and it has to be transferred to partners capital account. We know that how many partners are there? RKNS, 3 partners are there. Okay, 3 partners. We are going to transfer this profit and losses balance. The entry will be P and L. Sorry, it will be opposite. RKNS, R's capital account will be debited. K's capital account will be debited. S's capital account will be debited to P and L account. What was the balance of profit and loss account? If I look at it, the balance of profit and loss account was 15,000 rupees, and their profit sharing ratio is not given. So we are going to transfer it in the equal ratio. Okay, so 15,000 rupees is going to come. Okay, over here 15,000 rupees, and it will be 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000. Simply loss distributed. Now, one mistake which can take place, students think, okay, question khatam ho gaya, now we can go. No, question khatam nahi hua hai. Abhi, since you do not know the entire application, how much was transferred to profit and loss account, how much was transferred to realization account, as I said, how much was transferred to डेबिट साइड एंड क्रेडिट साइड एंड ऑल दैट आपको पता नहीं है, लेकिन फिर भी इतना तो पता है हाउ मच इज डेबिटेड टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट एंड हाउ मच इज क्रेडिटेड टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. बेस्ड ऑन दिस अगर मैं इसका लेजर बनाऊं तो ये कहां जाएगा? 6,000 इज गोइंग टू कम ओवर हियर. अगर ये 27,000 लिखूंगी तो यहाँ लिखूंगी, एंड दिस 3,000 इज गोइंग टू कम ओवर हियर. What it is reflecting? It is reflecting a loss in realization account. 6,000 plus 27,000, 33,000 का loss. Sorry, 33,000 debit side balance minus 3,000, 30,000 का loss है. Without fail बेटा ये वाली entry pass करके आ जाना. Loss on realization is to be transferred to partners capital account. कैसे entry pass होगी वो? Realization, partners capital. Sorry, not realization. What are the names of partner? The names of partners are R's capital account. मैं बहुत गंदा लिख रही हूँ, but just to finish it fast. R's capital account, K's capital account, and S's capital account. इन सबको आप क्या कर दोगे? You are going to debit all of them because they are going to share realization loss. And realization account को यहाँ कर देंगे. 30,000 there is loss, and since they are equal partner, each one share in the loss is 10,000. Don't forget to pass this entry. You have to pass this entry without fail. Okay, so we are done with one question of doing the questions of journal entry also. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now we are ready to move to the next question. Next question looks the big question, but again, over here, they have asked only two things, realization account and partners capital account. Now, these many adjustments may not come in your exam because it is going to be only for 5 marks. So it cannot be asked such a big adjustment, but as I told you, हमको प्रैक्टिस करते टाइम क्या ये देखना है कि कितने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन आएगा, नहीं प्रैक्टिस करते टाइम तो we have to try as many adjustments as possible. Okay, so keeping that thing in mind, we are going to practice it. Let us see what is question saying. We have reached to the third question. We are maintaining good speed. With following is the balance sheet of Ram and Ghanshyam. There are two partners, Ram and Ghanshyam, who are sharing profits and losses in the ratio 4:1. Okay. Now the balance sheet is being given. Sundry creditors will be transferred to the debit side of credit side of realization account. Bank overdraft. Remember that bank loan is transferred to the realization account, but bank overdraft is not transferred to the realization account. Not going. Ram's wife's loan is going to the credit side. Ghanshyam's loan, no, it will be made separately. Asked by the question. Investment fluctuation fund, definitely it is going to the credit side. Okay, bank is itself cash, not going. Debtors, which amount 17,000, will go to the debit side of realization account. Provision for doubtful debt, obviously it will go to the credit side of realization account. Stock will go. Stock is 15,000. Investment will go. Building will go. Goodwill will go. Profit and loss account, not going. Okay, this much we have come to know. Okay, so let's do fatafat. First of all, we are going to make realization account. Okay, let me make realization account over here. So I'm making my realization account by transferring all of this. I'm just trying to make little space over here so that I don't have to come back again and again and see. Fine. Sundry creditors. Creditors are 8,000. Just one moment. So we are going to do this realization account. First of all, I'm going to make. So here is my question number 3. Realization account, and over here I'm going to write two sundry assets, and over here I'm going to write by sundry liabilities. Okay, so under this I have to write various assets, okay, and various liabilities. I'm referring to the question from the other device. So under sundry assets I have first of all debtors, and debtors are 17,000 rupees. Fine. Where will PDD go? Here. Provision for doubtful debt, I'm going to write over here. So provision for doubtful debt is 2,000 rupees. Okay, so provision for doubtful debt, I have written over here 2,000 rupees. Fine. After that, what is going to come? After that, other liabilities, other assets, that is stock. The stock is 15,000 rupees. I will write 15,000 rupees for stock. What else is going to come over here? Investment is going to come over here, students. And investment is 25,000 rupees. Okay, investment is 25,000 rupees. What is building? Building is again 25,000 rupees, and goodwill will also come. Goodwill is realizable asset. Don't forget that many students have doubt regarding this, and goodwill is 10,000. Okay, profit and loss is not going to come over here. Profit and loss will be transferred to partners capital account. Okay, so what I can do, I will total it and I'll write it in the outer column. So this is 17,000 plus 15,000 plus 25,000 plus 25,000 and 10,000. Total 92,000 I am going to write in the outer column. Fine. Now let us write what are other liabilities over here. So I have liabilities over here, which are sundry creditors. PDD I have already written. I have creditors over here. I'm not referring to the question again and again. I have opened it over here on the other device. Okay. So sundry creditors are 8,000. Then after that, I have Ram's wife's loan. This is outsider's loan. So our wife's loan, which is 8,000 rupees, I'm going to write over here. Then Ghanshyam's loan obviously will not come, and left is IFR, Investment Fluctuation Fund is written over here. So I can say IFF also, which is 3,000 rupees. Investment Fluctuation Fund is not 3,000, sorry, 5,000 rupees. It is 5,000 rupees. Investment Fluctuation Fund is 5,000. I take out the total of all of this and write in the outer column. So 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. And 18 plus 5 is 23,000. So 23,000 I am going to write in the outer column. So this is how I have transferred all the assets and liabilities in the debit and credit side of realization account. Okay, I hope things are clear till here. My pen fell down. Let me just pick up. Now, what is the next step? Next step, I'm going to read how various assets and liabilities are taken over or sold and how these things realize. Okay, so we were doing question number 3 over here. We have transferred everything from here. Now let us start reading. Ram agreed to pay his wife's loan. Okay, if Ram is agreeing to pay his wife's loan, it should come on the debit side of realization account. Here I'm going to write to R's capital account. Okay, on bracket I have to write taken over wife's loan. And how much was wife's loan? Wife's loan was 8,000 rupees. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write over here 8,000 rupees in outer column. Fine. Now let me go ahead and see what else is written over here. Here, second point is debtors of 3,000 proved bad. Okay, if 3,000 debtors proved bad, now what happens? Students start applying their logic from the chapters of admission and partnership, retirement of partnership. That 2,000 provision for doubtful debt is there. 3,000 का debtors bad debts हो गया, तो 3,000 में से 2,000 तो हम लोग यहाँ से ले लेंगे, 1,000 रुपए का loss हो गया. It's wrong. Okay, students, understand that you do not have any assets and liabilities left. Okay, all the accounts have been closed now. You have transferred all the assets and all the liabilities. If you look over here, what has happened? Over here in the realization account, you see you have transferred debtors of 17,000 here, debtors account is closed. You have transferred provision for doubtful debt, this is also closed. So what is the meaning of this 3,000 का debtors mandate हो गया? इसका मतलब ये है, by bank में जब मैं लिखूंगी assets realized, okay? Assets realized. इस assets realized में I have to write the debtors out of 70,000. The debtors of 3,000 rupees proved bad. Okay, so 70 minus 3, how much? I have received only 40,000 rupees from the debtors. Got it? Okay. Now let us move ahead and see. Other assets realized, investment 25% less, goodwill at 75%. मतलब goodwill multiplied by 70% कर लो, and investment में से minus 25%. मतलब if I say investment realized at 75%, it is that, and goodwill 70%. Okay. So we are going to write under by bank only over here, under by bank. For goodwill, I have to write 70%. So goodwill was 10,000. Goodwill ka I have received 70%, means 7,000. Investment ka मुझे लिखना है 25% less, means investment is realized at 75%. Okay, so 18750, 25,000 plus 75%. If you are using calculator, you take out that. Okay, fine. Now let us go ahead and see the next one. What is next one? ये कर लिया हम लोगों ने यहाँ तक. Third point तक we have finished. Fourth point. One of the creditors for 5,000 was paid only 3,000. One of the creditors, मतलब creditors कितने के थे? 8,000 rupees was the total amount of creditors. उसमें से 5,000 की जो creditors है ना, उसको आपने 3,000 पे किया. Okay, ठीक है. तो मैं यहाँ पर टू बैंक करके लिखूंगी. Liabilities paid. A creditor, I have paid 3,000, and I'm going to write it in the inner column only because there may be other liabilities which I'll have to pay. Okay, so we have paid one of the creditors at 3,000. Building were auctioned for 35,000, and auctioneer took the auctioneer's commission amounted to 1,000. So what happens? Building and all are not easily sellable assets. So you have to call someone as a brokerage or so. यहाँ पे auction किया, मतलब कि उसका बोली लगा कि bid करके नीलाम कर दिया पहले. जब ये किया तो जो auctioneer आया था उसने अपना commission कितना लिया? 1,000 rupees. Okay. So a net amount, how much I have received, I am going to make the entry for that. See, there can be two ways of doing it. Either we can do by बिल्डिंग बाय बैंक के नीचे बिल्डिंग लिखो 35,000 रुपीज. यहाँ पर मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ. ओके, यहाँ देखो मैं लिख करके काट दूंगी. पहले यहाँ देखिए, या तो मैं ऐसा कर सकती हूँ दैट आई राइट बिल्डिंग ओवर हियर 35,000 एंड यहाँ पर मैं लिखूं कमीशन, ऑक्शनियर्स कमीशन जो था 1,000 रुपीज. या तो मैं ऐसा एंट्री पास करूं विच इज परफेक्टली फाइन, या मैं ये चक्कर ही हटा दूं. ऐसा करने की जगह सीधा ही यहाँ पे मेरे पॉकेट में नेट कितना आया? 34,000 लिख दो. Both are correct. Okay, your marks will not be deducted. You can show over here building gain is 35,000 minus 1,000 because the net amount coming into your pocket is only 34,000. Fine, students. So you can follow any of these. Both are approved method. Both are authentic. Both are correct method. Board is not going to cut your marks. Okay. चलो, ये भी डन हो गया. उसके बाद देखते हैं और क्या पूछा हुआ है. उसके बाद क्या पूछा हुआ है? बिल्डिंग वाला पॉइंट हम लोगों ने कर लिया. पॉइंट नंबर 6, घनश्याम. घनश्याम इज वन ऑफ द पार्टनर. Took over part of stock at 4,000 being 20% less than book value. Very good point. 4,000 स्टॉक लिया 20% लेस देन द बुक वैल्यू. तो ये क्या कर रहे हैं? हमारे साथ गेम खेल रहे हैं. क्वेश्चन क्या गेम खेल रहे हैं? हमको पता नहीं रहा है 4,000 की बुक वैल्यू कितनी है. बोल रहे हैं 4,000 विच इज एक्चुअली 20% लेस देन द बुक वैल्यू. तो हम लोग तो कैलकुलेटर के माहिर हैं, हम लोग कैलकुलेशंस में माहिर हैं. 4,000 अगर 20% लेस है मींस 4,000 इज इक्वल टू 80%. तो क्या मैं इसका 100% निकाल सकती हूँ? उसमें कौन सी बड़ी बात है? 4,000 डिवाइड बाय 80% कर दूंगी तो मेरे को पता चल जाएगा कि इसकी बुक वैल्यू कितनी थी. क्योंकि 4,000 इज 80%. व्हाट इज 100%? इट इज सो सिंपल टू टेक आउट. 4,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 80% कर दोगे आप इसको, तो 4,000 डिवाइडेड बाय 80% करने पे आता है 5,000 की वैल्यू थी. इसको इसने में कितने में ले लिया? घनश्याम ने 4,000 में टेक ओवर कर लिया. सबसे पहले तो मैं इसकी एंट्री करके आती हूँ. घनश्याम ने जो टेक ओवर कर लिया. ओके, यहाँ थोड़ा स्पेस छोड़ देती हूँ. अगर बैंक के नीचे कुछ और आएगा तो आई एम गोइंग टू राइट इट एंड देन टोटल इन द आउटर कॉलम. सो बाय जी's कैपिटल अकाउंट लिख देती हूँ मैं घनश्याम पूरा नाम लिखने की जगह, और मुझे ब्रैकेट में लिखना पड़ेगा स्टॉक टेकन ओवर. And how much for 4,000 rupees? I have to write it in the outer column. For 4,000 rupees, he has taken over the stock. But that point was not finished over there. There is something more written over there. Let's see what is written over here. It is saying the balance stock, ये यहाँ चला गया नीचे. The balance stock realized 50%. What is the balance stock? So first of all, I'll have to go and see how much was the total in stock. Total was 15,000. So look over here. 15,000 में से 5,000 बुक वैल्यू का घनश्याम ने टेक ओवर कर दिया. बाकी कितना बचा? 10,000 and it realized 50%. Means this also realized 5,000. Look again what I said. Total stock was 15,000. Out of 15,000, Ghanshyam took over the stock of 5,000. How did I come to know 5,000? See this calculation I did. If 4,000 is 80%, how much is the full amount? Full amount is 4,000 divided by 80%, 5,000. So that is being reduced, and the question is saying remaining half was sold at the 50% of book value. So 10,000's 50% is 5,000. इतना हमने मार्केट में बेचा और पैसा हमारे जेब में आ गया. ठीक है. So let us go over here. एंड यहाँ पर आप लोग बाय बैंक के नीचे जो हम सब लिख रहे थे उधर लिख लीजिए स्टॉक 5,000. ओके, घनश्याम ने जो लिया दैट इज वी हैव रिटन ओवर हियर, एंड व्हाट इज बीइंग सोल्ड टू द मार्केट in the market outside, that is also being written. Okay, so we are done with one more point. We are done with this one also. Sixth one. Seventh, realization expenses amounted to 2,000. Whenever the question does not say anything, always it is assumed that realization expenses are to be borne by the firm. Okay, so we are going to write it over here in the realization account on the debit side. Wherever we have written to bank, over here we are going to write realization expenses, which is 1,000. It was 1,000 or 2,000. Let me go back and check. It was 2,000 rupees. 2,000 rupees I am going to write over here. Okay. Now I am done with doing everything in the realization account. Like the previous question, I am not going to do the totaling over here because by now, students, I feel that all of you must be well versed of doing at least this calculation part. आपको क्या करना है इसके बाद? आपको डेबिट साइड का टोटल लगाना है. ये जो मैंने छोटे छोटे टोटल छोड़ दिए उसको मैं जरूर लिख देती हूँ बाहर. दिस इज 3. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात रह गया है, क्रेडिटर्स. अभी यहाँ देखिए टोटल क्रेडिटर्स कितने थे? 8,000 रुपीज के. 8,000 में से हमको बोला गया था 5,000 के क्रेडिटर्स को ओनली 3,000 पे किया. अब मुझे एक बात बताओ, बाकी के 3,000 क्रेडिटर्स का क्या हुआ? कुछ नहीं बोला है. जब भी क्वेश्चन कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, डू वी हैव टू अज्यूम that this is to be paid? Yes, obviously we have to pay it. So बाकी के क्रेडिटर्स का भी आप पेमेंट करेंगे. ओके, बाकी के क्रेडिटर्स कितने के पेमेंट हुआ? 3,000 के क्रेडिटर्स थे, उसका पेमेंट करेंगे. आईएफआर का किसी को पेमेंट होता नहीं है, पीडीडी का किसी को पेमेंट होता नहीं है. So पीडीडी is not doing, आईएफआर is not doing. There was bank loan also, I think. No, bank overdraft was there, which is not to be transferred. Okay, so we have paid all the liabilities. What were all the liabilities? Creditors. Vice loan was taken over by the partner himself and nothing else. Okay, so now let me write down the things. Later on, you can do the totaling on yours. 40,000 plus 7,000 plus 18,750 plus 34,000 plus 5,000. So ये जो outer column में amount आएगा, this is 78,750. ये 4,000 में थोड़ा यहाँ खसका कर लिख देते so that there is no confusion. There is 4,000 over here and the total over here is 2,000 plus 8,000 plus 8,000 plus 5,000, 23,000. This I'm going to write over here. So ये सारे मेरे outer column के amounts हैं. यहाँ पर 92,800 and 3 plus 3 is 678, 8,000 over here. आप लोग गेन या लॉस निकालेंगे. ठीक है, ये काम आपको खुद से करना है. एक और चीज मांगी थी, क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट थी रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट एंड पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट ऑल्सो. सो आई एम मेकिंग पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट. व्हाट इज पार्टनर्स कैपिटल अकाउंट? Under partners capital account, there are Ram and Ghanshyam. Okay, Ghanshyam and Ram. सबसे पहले क्या आएगा? First of all, you are going to write down the balance brought down, students. Okay, so first of all, you are going to write down the balance brought down. And what is balance brought down? Look over here. Balance brought down of Ram and Ghanshyam is 50 and 40,000 rupees. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to write down their opening balances, which is 50,000 and 40,000 rupees. Okay, after that I have to write here to P&L account. What is P&L account? If you look at the question, there is loss. Where is loss, ma'am? Over here. See this, 10,000 rupees ka loss hai question ka. 10,000 rupees ka loss has to be written off. Okay, so this loss will be written off. And in what ratio? Is there any ratio given? Yes, 4:1 का ratio था. 10,000. So you are going to divide into two ratios, 4:1 8,000 and 2,000. उसके बाद realization का जो भी loss या profit आएगा, that you people will calculate on your own, that you are going to write. What else has to come? सबसे पहले ये देखो, Ram had taken over his wife's loan, so it is written over here on the debit side, and it is going to come over here like this by realization account, and in the bracket I will write wife's loan. And how much was wife's loan? He had taken over 8,000 rupees का wife का loan. 8,000 rupees इधर आ जाएगा. Then एक और partner, Ghanshyam, I think. Ghanshyam had taken over one asset. Which asset? Stock takeover किया था. Stock takeover किया था. ये कहाँ पर जाएगा? उसके डेबिट में. क्यों? क्योंकि जब उसको फाइनल सेटलमेंट करेंगे तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? इतना कम देंगे. टू रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट. रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट में घनश्याम ने स्टॉक कितने का टेक ओवर किया था? 4,000 रुपीज स्टॉक हियर टेकन ओवर. नाउ आफ्टर दिस व्हाट इज लेफ्ट? any profit or loss of realization, which you will come to know after doing the totals over here. So if there is a loss, this is going to come on the debit side. If there is a profit, it is going to come on the credit side. Then final settlement. Now remember this, if the question asks, because of the change pattern, you have to make only what is being asked. Earlier कैसे question आता था, they used to say make necessary account. Necessary account का मतलब होता था realization account, partners capital account, bank account, and if there is any loan account. In this question there was loan. किसका loan था? इस question में आपके पास यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा इसको बड़ा करती हूँ मैं, zoom out करके यहाँ देखो. यहाँ पर एक पार्टनर कौन है? घनश्याम. घनश्याम का लोन था. तो अगर लोन अकाउंट बनाने के लिए आता तो वो लोन अकाउंट हम कैसे बनाते? ठीक है, एक थोड़ा सा एडिशनल चीज आपको करके बता देती हूँ, बिकॉज लोन अकाउंट की प्रैक्टिस कुछ बच्चों ने कम करी होगी. ठीक है, पार्टनर्स लोन अकाउंट हमेशा सेपरेटली बनता है. कौन सा लोन? लोन फ्रॉम द पार्टनर. तो ये जी घनश्याम का लोन था. हमेशा लोन इज अ लायबिलिटी, तो यू विल राइट बैलेंस ब्रॉट डाउन. 3,000 का उसका लोन अकाउंट था. अब उसका पेमेंट कैसे करोगे? टू बैंक करके उसका पेमेंट करोगे एंड क्लोज. ये कहाँ इसकी जरूरत पड़ सकती है? कभी कभी ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपको बैंक अकाउंट बनाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, और अगर बैंक अकाउंट बनाने के लिए बोलेंगे तो ये बैंक की क्रेडिट साइड में जाएगा, मतलब बैंक में पेमेंट साइड में ये जाने वाला है. ठीक है, सो डोंट फॉरगेट दिस स्टूडेंट्स. I hope this question is clear to you. एक बार इस क्वेश्चन को देख लीजिए. मैं धीरे धीरे से स्क्रॉल कर रही हूँ. ये मेरे पास रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट है. ये आपका रियलाइजेशन अकाउंट है जहां सारी एसेट्स को पहले ट्रांसफर किया, देन ऑल द लायबिलिटीज आर बीइंग ट्रांसफर्ड, देन द पेमेंट ऑफ एसेट्स. क्रेडिटर्स का पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट था. मैं क्वेश्चन दिखाती हूँ, क्या क्या आपको घर पे रिवाइज करते टाइम बहुत ध्यान देके पढ़ना है. एक तो ये पॉइंट नंबर 6 इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट था जहां पर हम लोग को एसेट की बुक वैल्यू निकालनी थी. दे हैड टोल्ड अस द वैल्यू एट व्हिच द पार्टनर हैज टेकन ओवर. दैट वाज इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. सो दिस इज स्टार मार्क. देन debtors prove that this is star mark. Okay, and this one of the creditors, because यहाँ पर एक 5,000 की creditor की बात करी थी. This was to be read properly कि total creditors 8,000 के थे, 3,000 का अभी भी पेमेंट बाकी है. ओके, आई होप ये आप अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा. एंड अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, रिवीजन क्लासेस आर नॉट सब्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ सेल्फ स्टडी. आपको खुद से बैठ के तो जरूरी पढ़ना है. ये आपको बूस्ट अप कर देगा, आपके स्पीड ऑफ रिवीजन को बढ़ा देगा. और इसके अलावा रिवीजन क्लासेस आपकी सेल्फ स्टडी का सब्स्टिट्यूट बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. यू हैव टू स्टडी ऑन योर ओन. ओके, नाउ वी आर रेडी टू मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. अरे क्या हुआ? Okay, fine. So now let us go to the next question. We have just skipped one question. We will go back. We are not leaving it. We will go back over there. We are doing question number 5 right now, which is again journal entry question. X, Y, and Z are partners sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2:1 respectively. Okay. The firm was dissolved and the following adjustments were made. Prepared necessary journal entries. Again, this is a question of journal entry, and you have to pay attention to the questions of journal entries as well. Now let's look at this as students. First of all, one journal entry. An unrecorded asset costing 9,000 was taken over by Y, 7,800. One of the partner has taken over an unrecorded asset. See, whenever there is an unrecorded asset, we do not go and record it in the realization account. That entry is not supposed to be passed. But yes, if a partner has taken over, for that the entry has to be passed. For what amount? the amount at which he has taken over. So what will be the journal entry over here? If I pass this journal entry, I will make the entries over here. Number 1 journal entry is, question number 7 it is. First journal entry is partner's capital account. His name is Y. So I'll write Y's capital account. It will be debited, and to realization account. What is the amount? 7,800. Don't make the mistake of writing 9,000. 7,800. Done with the first one. Next is M, a creditor to whom 6,000 were due to be paid, accepted office equipment at 4,000 and the balance paid to him in cash. Okay. Not full settlement. Full settlement में नहीं लिया. Full settlement में ले लिया होता अगर इसमें ऑफिस इक्विपमेंट तो उसकी कोई एंट्री पास नहीं होती. सबसे पहले एक बात ध्यान दो, 6,000 रुपीज का क्रेडिटर था एम, जिसने 4,000 का इक्विपमेंट एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. ठीक है, तो 6 में से 4 का एसेट उसने ट्रेड ऑफ कर लिया. For this part, no entry. Remaining 2,000 cash में दिया. इसके लिए entry pass होगी. Remember that trading off between assets and liabilities, no entry has to be passed. Okay. So second part, you are going to pass the entry. What is the entry? Realization. ऐसा मत लिख देना M's capital account, M's account debit to bank. बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसा करते हैं. याद रखो कोई भी asset and liability बची नहीं अभी. All of these are transferred to the realization account. So you always have to write realization account only. No assets name, no liabilities name. What is the amount we are going to pay to this? We are going to pay 2,000 rupees to him. Okay, got it. X, who undertakes to carry out dissolution procedure, was paid 2,000 rupees for the same. X कौन है? One of the partner. तो अगर कोई partner कोई dissolution expense, dissolution का work carry out करना था तो उसको हम commission वगैरह कुछ भी दे रहे, इसका मतलब वो firm की liability take over कर रहा है एक तरीके से. तो entry pass होती है उसके लिए realization account debit to excess capital account. And what amount are we paying? 2,000 rupees we are paying to him. We have passed entry for it. Profit and loss account balance of 50,000 appeared on the asset side. Asset side का मतलब this is loss. Debit balance of profit and loss appears on the asset side of the balance sheet. So what are we going to do? We are going to write excess capital account debit, Y's capital account debit, Z's capital account debit to P and L account. Okay. What was the amount? It was, where is this? Where it is here. 50,000. And what is the profit sharing ratio? 3:2:1. 30, 20, and 10. Okay. Next, realization expenses amounted to 5,000 has to be borne by Y, one of the partner. Okay, if he has to bear it, realization expenses amounting to 5,000 has to be borne by Y, one of the partner. No information is given whether Y has paid or not. We will assume he had to bear and he only had paid it, because we cannot assume on our own that firm paid on his behalf, X paid on his behalf, Z paid on his behalf. No, we will not pass any entry for this. If it has to be borne by Y, Y must have paid privately. So we will not pass any entry. Next one, there was an unrecorded liabilities of 5,500 settled at a discount of 15%. Okay. Whatever discount, whatever amount you are paying, that will be recorded. So whenever you make the payment, it comes to the debit side of realization account. Realization account will be debited and it will be paid through bank account. It was 5,500 minus 15%. So you are going to pay 4,675. How this 4,675 came? 5,500 minus 15%. Okay. Minus 15%. Right? So 4,675. Fine. I did it little fast, students, but it was a simple question. So I did it. My motive was not to take more than 1 hour from all of you. So I hope it's going little fast, but if you focus, you will be able to do it. Okay, because questions are as such not very hard, but yes, there are certain important points on which you have to focus. So see it again. This file shall be available to you on my app under free resources. From there, you can see it. Now the next question is question number 4, which we had skipped and jumped to the 5th. Question number 4 is saying X, Y, and Z shared profits in the ratio of 3:2:1. They dissolved the firm and appointed X, who was to receive 5% commission on the sale of assets and is to bear all the expenses of realization. Okay. He has to bear, the question has said it clearly that he has to bear all the realization expenses. Okay. The balance sheet was as follows. Let us discuss. I think there's no need for me to write this. I will see if there is needed. I will write few things. Okay. Obviously, capital accounts will not go to the realization account. Commission received in advance is what? It is a liability and it will go to the credit side of realization account. Investment fluctuation fund will also go to the credit side of realization account. Provident fund is an outsider's liability. It will go to the credit side of realization account as well as under to bank, we will have to pay this. Creditors will also go to the realization account. Bank overdraft will not go to the realization. I hope till here it is clear. Cash in hand will not go to the realization account because it is itself liquid. Debtors obviously will go to the debit side of realization account. Stock will go to the debit side of realization account. Investment debit side of realization account. Plants debit side of realization account. This is partners capital account on the debit side. It will be written off in which ratio it was written over here. They are sharing in 3:2:1. Okay, in this ratio, it will be debited to partners capital account. So we have discussed everything, what will go where. Okay, I'm not making the account just for the purpose of saving the time and giving more time in explanation. Next is X, realize the assets as follows. Debtors 45,000, stock 39,000, investment 75% of the value and plant and this. So investment was how much? Investment was 22,500. So I will calculate 22,500 into 75%. 22,500 into 75%, which is 16875. Okay, this much is for investment. Where are we going to write all this? In realization account under buy bank. When we write buy bank, under that we will write debtors, we will write stock, we will write investment and the value of plant, which is 64,125 students. I hope till here it is clear. I have slowed down my speed because I'm not making the account, but I'm explaining it. Okay. Next, expenses of realization amounted to rupees 6,150, which were paid by firm. Very important, students. If it is paid by the firm, but who had to bear it? Remember this, we had read over here. 5% of the commission had to be paid to whom? To X. And he had to bear all the realization expenses. But what happened? Firm paid this realization expenses. So this is a special case, students. When I was teaching you, I had told you this is the only case in which realization account is not involved. If you remember the journal entry is partners capital account. In this case, that partner's name is X. X is capital account. The entry will be excess capital account debit to bank account. Means firm's bank account is paying and his capital account is debited. Why? Because when the final settlement for X will be done, this amount shall be taken from X, means should be reduced from the final payment. So this is not going to take place in realization account. The question's requirement was realization account. In realization account, this 6150 will not come. But yeah, what commission we have to pay him? See what was written? 5% commission on the sale of asset. Means what is the sale of asset? See, sale of asset is 45,000. This 45,000 is plus 39,000 plus 16875 for investment plus 64125. So the total is coming as 1,65,000. Let me tell you once again, what is the total? 45,000, 39,000, 16,875 and 64,125. All this is total, and out of this 5% of this of 1,65,000 means 8,250 has to be paid to this partner X. For this, what will be the entry in realization account? In the realization account on the debit side, you are going to write 2 excess capital account. Listen to me once again. What are you going to write? 2 excess capital account. What are you going to write? 8,250 students. Okay. Firm has to pay 10,800 for the outstanding salary. I left this one. I have reached to 4. I will go back there. Outstanding salary not provided earlier. What is this? This is unrecorded liability. In the realization account on debit side, to bank, uske niche 10,800 you are going to write. Okay, it is an unrecorded liability which is to be settled. Next is commission received in advance is to be returned to customers after deducting 4,500 for work done. कोई कमीशन एडवांस में मिला था, उसमें से कुछ काम कर दिया, कितने का कर दिया? 12,000 में से 4,500 का काम कर दिया, बाकी का बचा हुआ नहीं कर पाए, तो that is to be returned to the customer. So we are going to write to commission outstanding, and what will be the amount? 12,000 में से 4,500 you are going to reduce. So this will be 12,000 minus 4,500. Under to bank, you are going to write 7,500 students. I hope you are getting. I'm speaking slow so that you make note of everything. And when you sit, you can do this question on your own. Compensation is to employees paid by the firm at to 14,700. This was also not provided for earlier. Like कोई compensation pay किया, कोई WCR nothing was there, and this also will go under to bank. Debit side of realization account under to bank. This amount you are going to write. 37,500 to be paid for provident fund. Provident fund आपने कितने का ट्रांसफर किया? यहाँ देखिए 18,000, but उससे ज़्यादा पे कर दिया. That also shall come under two banks. Under two banks, so many things are coming. Let me revise once again what all did we do over here. See, first of all, we transferred all the realizable asset to realization account, that is debtors, stock, investment plans, and this much over here. And over here, commission received in advance, investment fluctuation fund, provident fund, creditors. Okay. Then you have to pay this buyback. You have written 45,000, 39,000, 16,875. What is that? जो इन्वेस्टमेंट की वैल्यू थी 22,500 का 75%, 16,875 and 64,125. इन सबका टोटल किया, 5% निकाला, and that you are writing to this person's capital account. Who is this? Excess capital account as his commission. Fine. Later on, you have expenses of realization which are paid by the firm but were to be borne by X. For that, no entry in the realization account. Commission received in advance 12,000 था, उसमें से 4,500 का सर्विस रेंडर कर दिया था, उसको माइनस करके रिमेनिंग 7,500 रिटर्न. तो टू बैंक के अंदर 7,500. Firm has to pay 10,800 for outstanding liability. Two bank के अंदर outstanding liability for salary. Compensation to employee. Two bank के नीचे 14,700. 37,500 also टू बैंक के नीचे. अभी याद रखो स्टूडेंट्स, मैंने सबसे पहले दिन आप लोगों को पढ़ाया था कि कोई भी लाइबिलिटी अगर प्रोवाइडेड है क्वेश्चन में और उसके बारे में क्वेश्चन में कुछ नहीं लिखा कि इसके बारे में कितना पे किया, देन आल्सो यू हैव टू अज्यूम दैट वी आर पेइंग. क्रेडिटर्स का कुछ भी मेंशन आया ही नहीं. क्या हमने उसे पे नहीं किया? नहीं. वी हैव टू अज्यूम दैट इट इज बीइंग पेड एंड 90,000 आप जाके खुद से लिख दोगे. क्वेश्चन हैज नॉट मेंशन. क्वेश्चन ने प्रोविडेंट फंड के बारे में बोल दिया, क्वेश्चन ने कमीशन ने एडवांस के लिए बोल दिया, बाकी सब फलाना ढिमका बोल दिया. क्रेडिटर्स के बारे में बोला ही नहीं है. क्या हम नहीं पे करेंगे? नहीं, हमको पे करना पड़ेगा. वी आर गोइंग टू राइट टू बैंक 90,000 रुपीस. Okay, so इट वाज आल्सो अ गुड क्वेश्चन, सिंपल था लेकिन इसमें कुछ एडजस्टमेंट, जैसे कि क्रेडिटर्स का आप मिस्टेक कर सकते थे, आप इन्वेस्टमेंट का यहाँ पे बुक वैल्यू निकलते टाइम और इन्वेस्टमेंट 75% रियलाइज हुआ, वहां मिस्टेक्स हो सकती थी. So I hope this is clear and all of you must have understood and this will give you a kick start for your revision. अगर अभी तक डिसोल्यूशन आपने किया नहीं है या अच्छे से नहीं हुआ था तो इससे और हेल्प मिल जाएगी. ये क्वेश्चंस आपको मिल जाएंगे, ये जो मैंने हालांकि यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है इसको भी मैं शेयर कर दूंगी. कहाँ पर? अंडर कृष्णास क्लासेस ऐप डाउनलोड करिएगा, उसमें फ्री स्टडी रिसोर्सेज के अंदर दिस यू शैल गेट. एंड मैं एक और फाइल अलग से अपलोड कर दूंगी जहां पर ओनली क्वेश्चन है, बिकॉज यहाँ मेरी मार्किंग के साथ चीजें हो सकता है थोड़ी मुश्किल लगे, बट स्टिल विद दिस मार्किंग ऑल्सो आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर, so that if you want to refer to anything you can refer and you can refer to the video also. Okay, so thank you for coming over here. Please don't forget to share, subscribe and like. Okay, we'll meet in the next revisionary session.